What's create confusion? What's our ultimate goal with a language pattern? Yep. Get rid of the conscious mind. Yeah. Put them into trance. What else does a language pattern do other than that? Regardless of what trance looks like, whether it's a form of confusion, an Ericksonian approach, for those who went to the Spotting Unconscious Moments seminar, could be that approach. At the end of the day, what's the only goal? Trance. Or hypnosis. So, to make this a little bit easier, for those who haven't been to a seminar before or followed this process, I just want to look at hypnosis, and there's 4 steps that regardless of what technique, what strategy you use, what type of approach, whatever the label's called that you've practiced with, all hypnosis has to go through in some form. There's 4 steps, A, B, S, U. Who's familiar with that 4-step acronym? Okay, excellent. So if you're not, if you have been, who has been hypnotized before, formally or informally? Yep, excellent. In order for this quote-unquote hypnosis to have a reaction, or for you to feel like you've been hypnotized, your hypnotist, whether they knew it or not, had to have applied, usually these 3, this 4 is just a bonus if you will, these 3 to put you into trance, okay? Your hypnotist had to get your attention. They had to bypass, I'll put the C mind, which is the conscious mind, and they had to stimulate the unconscious mind. Would everyone agree with that? Whether your client got your attention by looking in your eyes, telling you a story, getting rapport, it had to have functioned through this. In order for you to feel hypnosis, this had to have happened. They had to have bypassed your conscious mind. It's that conscious mind in you or your clients that says, hypnosis isn't real. I can't be hypnotized. This is rubbish. Who's heard that before? Yes. That's that part of the mind talking. In order for you to get some sort of hypnotic phenomena, i.e. your client's eyes closed automatically, they relaxed really deeply, maybe one of their arms lifted up by themselves, they felt confused, their breathing went shallow, went heavier. In order for that to happen, there had to be some sort of stimulation of the unconscious mind, because that's where trance exists. Does that make sense so far? This we'll look at a little bit later. This is just utilize. We'll look at that very soon. But these are the 3. So if you've been hypnotized before, this would have had to have happened in some form. Okay? So if our goal with our language pattern is to get trance, what else could we use a language pattern for? There's 2 categories. Trance, what else might we use a language pattern for?
Connection.
Connection, yep, so it might be a rapport. What else?
Change.
Yep, change. Let's call it therapeutic. You've got language patterns that induct a trance, do we not? And you also got language patterns that might create some sort of therapeutic outcome. There's only 2. So to make your language patterns easier, when we're working with clients, we need to figure out where inside of this interaction or this intervention are they? If a client is not in trance, should we use a therapy language pattern? Who would agree yes? This is where people either do this.
We could combine them.
Yeah, we definitely could combine them. Who would feel that if your client's in trance, you could then go out and do some therapy? Hands up, folks, so I can see. My eyesight's not that good. Excellent. So how do we know if a client's in trance?
If they're open to working with you.
Yep, that'll be definitely part of it. Skin tone, yep.
Flickering of eyes.
Who's familiar with this? Probably sickest hearing about this, unconscious moments. For those who are familiar with it, what does an unconscious moment tell us? It's working. The rest of you that have been, certificates torn up, I need that it's working. So what is an unconscious moment? Skin tone coloration, flickering of the eyes.
Breathing.
So skin, breathing.
Lost in thought.
Yep, so can we put that like focus?
Yep.
Yeah, happy with that. There was one over here. Eye movement.
Their wrist is limp. Their arms are limp.
Yep, so it could be either limp or cataleptic. Yeah, so emotions. We saw a lot of those at the unconscious moment seminar. Clear indications. So an unconscious moment is a pure expression, write this down, is a pure expression of the unconscious mind. So if you've got your favourite language pattern, and we'll make a bigger list of these, if you've got your favourite language pattern and you get no unconscious response, what does that tell you about the language pattern? It's not for them, or there's other things you need to include in it. If you do see any of these, and we'll add to this list, it means you're on the right track. So what other unconscious phenomena, unconscious moments are we likely to see or even hear from our clients? So we get a clear list, because you're all going to play with this very soon. I want you to monitor these. What else?
An abreaction.
Yep, so it could be an abreaction. An abreaction is a negative reaction to trance, a very disturbing negative reaction. Okay, we'll talk about more later. That deals with more the safety side of things, but we'll look at that later, but that's a good one.
Swallow.
Yep.
Take a deep breath, so you've got breathing there. You can move their body.
Yep, so posture. What else?
Confusion.
Confusion, yeah. For those that have seen clients, have you ever asked a client a seemingly ordinary question that they cannot answer? And they do this. Well, it's sort of like, it's, I can feel it, but it's not, it's like, and they struggle to even answer the question. Who's had that phenomena before? That is the unconscious mind kicking in, because you've bypassed that conscious reaction, which is all your clients' excuses about why they can't quit or why they can't do this in life. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of confusion. What else?
Sighing.
Sighing, yeah. Now, the more the better we get up here, so you can monitor them. Ums and ahs, yeah, that comes into confusion.
What, laughing? We've had people, I've seen people laughing.
Yeah, hysterically. And you ask your client, what are you laughing about? And I don't know. But it comes out naturally. That's a big part of emotions. That's a big unconscious moment. What else?
Falling asleep.
Yeah, falling asleep, that could be the opposite, but we've got to touch on that anyway. It is common.
Well, I had one client open their eyes while they were in trance.
Yeah, it's natural.
And put them back into trance.
Yep. The question you should be asking is, did they actually come out?
No, they didn't.
There's a big myth around eye closure or eye opening with hypnosis, regardless of what you do, conversational, clinical, whatever. As long as you're seeing these, the eyes can be wide open. For those who've been in enough of our seminars, you've seen that dozens of times. It looks quite bizarre, but they're getting all the unconscious responses even with the eyes open. Okay? So we'll leave that up there for now, because we're going to get into our first exercise. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is break up again, swap. Sides can go into sides, not boy versus girl. Let's get into groups of 4 or 5. What do we got? What type of classical suggestions might we use with any old client? What could we say that sounds hypnotic? What do we got?
Breathing. Just breathe deep.
Just breathe deeply. Who would agree? That would promote some sort of feeling that could be related to trance, whether it's relaxation, tranquil, drifting. Breathing plays a big part. Greg?
Oh, no, it's just...
Oh, Green? Perfect. Greg agrees. Excellent. What else we got?
Listen to my voice.
Listen to my voice. Could be listen to my voice and wonder how deep you'll go into a relaxing, tranquil trance. Sounds nice. Okay, and what's our goal? Put them into trance. That's where we're directing them towards. Okay, we're giving some instructions to teach them possibly how to do that. Okay, so it's a great one. What else we got?
Repeating what they say.
Repeating what they say, so utilization. So if your client's saying, wow, I feel really relaxed, you might say, that's right, you do feel relaxed. And that you're stealing their suggestion. Yes?
Which part of you feels the most relaxed now?
Yeah, which part of you feels the most relaxed? Which draws their attention to something that's already occurring? What else could we say?
Where do you relax?
Where do you relax? How do you relax? What would it feel like if you went into trance? What's the common theme being repeated here? What's the common trance theme being repeated here?
Asking a question.
You're saying go into trance, are you? Isn't that the goal of a language pattern for some sort of induction? Regardless how you say it, what's your ultimate goal? Go into trance. Whether you tell them you need to breathe or you need to feel something or experience something, your goal is to go into trance. So what does that tell you about all the fancy language you put behind it or in front of it? What is that already telling us?
It's worked.
Don't get caught up in it. Okay? Who here has spent a lot of time practicing different types of inductions for different people? Yep. What's our only goal with an induction? What is that telling us already? You could get lost in the 15, 20, 30 steps, but get the same result as a 1 or 2 step. What's more important, figuring out what's the best induction for them, or what's the best induction for you to use on them? What's more important? Finding out what works for them, right?
So is it kind of like then whatever works?
Keep that attitude. Absolutely. It's whatever works for them at that time. It's not whatever's worked for client A before client B, because it's a brand new person sitting in front of you. So the whole purpose of this exercise and where we're going to go today is to say, hey, don't get confused in the I'm going to do this to you. Let's figure out what they want to do and you guide them through it. Wouldn't that make our life easier than getting caught up in this fabulous language? Now, I'm not knocking language. You have to learn it. You need to sound like a hypnotist. You need to be able to flow. But it's where hypnotists, and when I say we, I got caught into it too, I was obsessed with it. And I turned into this hypnotic language machine and then realised it wasn't having the same effect that I was promised. And I thought, well, I don't like that. It's a lot of work for getting nothing. A different type of approach had to be put forward. So I'm going to do the same exercise again. So there are, we can call them trance suggestions. Now I want to look at therapeutic suggestions. Again, let's go back to techniques. What does a therapy technique do? What's the ultimate goal? Whether you are NLP, you do timeline, Ericksonian, you do a lot of regressions, spotting unconscious moments, you just confuse the hell out of people. What's the goal with a therapy suggestion? Get change.
Create TDS.
Yep. You're just creating change. You're getting a client to think where the problem is and have new feelings or thoughts about it. Would we all agree with that? Okay. So I want you to make the same suggestions for a therapeutic suggestion you might suggest to a client. It could be, think of new ways to solve your problem. Is that not a therapy suggestion? Okay, so let's write these down. Let's get at least half a dozen and let's pick that apart as well. Again, talk to each other, work in a group. All right, folks, let me grab your attention. Let's see what we got. What are some classical therapeutic suggestions that we might say to a client or maybe have said to a client, whether it's worked or not? Yes?
As you start to relax,
Yep.
you can feel the changes happening
Yep.
day by day.
Excellent. So as you start to relax, that's almost a combination of both. You can start to feel the changes changing day by day, internally, externally. You can add all this wonderful language onto it. Okay? Beautiful. What else?
How would you feel about this change?
How would you feel about this change? Get to think internally. Yeah.
What have you tried before that's not working now?
Yep. So when they're in trance and they can't really speak, you could suggest that to them. And then they go through their life experience to find out. Very Ericksonian. Brilliant. What else?
Build on their past experiences. So
Yeah.
say they've had successes.
Excellent.
Of those successes.
Beautiful. Again, a very Ericksonian trick. Erickson was fond of not creating new change. He'd say, hey, if you're 50 years old sitting in front of me and you're telling me you can't quit smoking, you've had bigger issues in your life in the past you've overcome. Go to those, figure out how you did that, and let's apply it to this. Really nice approach with all the confusing the hell out of people along the way. What else?
The subconscious mind can create the changes the resources that are needed
Yep.
to help make you live happier, more fulfilling life.
Beautiful. I won't write other than bored, but beautiful. That's brilliant. Lovely language. What's the goal with that language, with that therapeutic suggestion? What are you hoping they'll do?
Well, that one there, you're creating the TDS, so you're
Yep.
creating the subconscious to fix the change.
Yep.
And you're also creating ego boosting to create the confidence back into the person.